we are going to be building an $800-ish gaming PC. The price of this one isn't exactly the focus point. The focus point of this build is none other than the literal brand new Ryzen 5 7400F. If you have not been watching my videos, you may not even know that this thing exists. It is a Ryzen 5 7400F, not to be confused with the highly regarded 7500F. Like I said, I've made a few videos on this. I paid $122 for this CPU. You can find 7500Fs for about like $140 on a really good day, usually like $150. Now, there's some drawbacks though, which we're gonna test and really figure out. It is not only just ever so slightly underclocked compared to the 7500F. I think it's like 200 megahertz. I could be, don't quote me on that. I think it's about 200 megahertz or so, which isn't a big deal. But the one thing that they did is instead of using solder underneath the IHS, so there's like the green PCB with the actual chipset on that PCB, and then the IHS is this metal part that you see on top that goes over top of the actual CPU. Okay, they have to use thermal compound in between those. That way the heat can get transferred through the IHS and then to your CPU cooler, AIO, or whatever. Instead of using solder, which is what they normally use, some type of solder compound, I'm not super smart on that, they used what I think is just traditional thermal paste. And I don't think that's a good idea. From the very small amount of reports, like nobody's really tested this too much. A couple of the small reports that I saw say that this thing really heats up quickly. So we are definitely going to benchmark the heck out of it and figure out if our cooler is going to be good enough. I could have went with like a 360 millimeter AIO, but instead I wanted to use something practical, which you would use with a 7500F, which is just the Vitro V5. This is a very standard single tower, single 120 millimeter fan, 5 copper heat pipe cooler that you would use with a budget to mid-range build. And we'll find out if it's not good enough. If it's not, we'll slap an AIO on there and really figure out what kind of cooling this $122 CPU needs. But like, if this needs an AIO, then I'm not going to recommend it because that just wouldn't make sense with a $120 CPU. But that is what we're going to be testing. So to go along with that, we also have my first ever, actually, ASRock B850 motherboard. This is the B850M-X Wi-Fi. I have never used a B850 motherboard so far. You definitely do not need a B850 with a 7400F. But in the micro ATX AM5 motherboard scene, these B5, there's a few B580Ms, or sorry, B850Ms that have been cheaper than B650Ms. So I snagged this up. I might even buy a few more if this works out okay. This is definitely a budget motherboard. We got 2 RAM slots, 1 or 2 M.2 slots. I think 2 M.2 slots. Doesn't look like we're gonna get any bells and whistles here. But does have Wi-Fi built in, which is nice though. But this cost me $110, which is actually really, really good for any AM5 motherboard, let alone the brand new chipset of B850M. So that's what we're going to be pairing with that. We also got our very standard RAM kit that I go with quite often. This is the Silicon Power 2x16 gigabyte DDR5 kit, 6,000 megahertz with a CL rating of 30, which is exactly what we want. 6,000 megahertz, CL 30. You can really buy any RAM kit if it has those specs. you'll be good to go. All black, no RGB. For our power supply, again, use that brand new PSU tier list. We got an MSI Mag A650 GL. I'm going to show you actually real quick about how to find this on the new PSU tier list, because the new tier list is a little bit more complex than the last one. So again, zttbuildhelp.com. Then you go to the PSU tier list, go to the main list, and we're looking for MSI. So you start on the left-hand side with the brand. That very first column is the brand. So we got MSI, and then these are the models, and you just work your way. Oh wait, hold on, you can't see it. There you go. You just work your way from left to right. So we have the MSI Mag right here, and then we have the A650GL. So that's going to be A-GL because the wattage is going to change. So MSI Mag A650GL, and then the only A650GL just happens to be 650 watts, which is the exact one we have. Boom. We got a tier B rating. No additional notes here. Good to go on that. It is not ATX 3.0, but that's fine, especially for a budget build like this. But that is how you find that tier rating with the new system. This is fully modular, 80 plus gold, if that matters to you. And this cost me $70, brand new on Amazon. Bro, I think I might build this PC. Well, let me figure out if that 7400F is worth it or not. Okay, next up, plugging into that A650GL, we got some Asia Horse cable extensions here, because this is not what I would consider an ultimate price to performance PC. We care about the aesthetics in this build, because we're going to be using some beautiful, not those, we want these, some beautiful red and black extensions. Look at those. Oh my gosh. This is what the aesthetic color combination is going to look like. It's going to be all black and red. And these cable extensions are absolutely perfect for that. Very excited. Going with the classic. Yeah, that is a very classic PC building color scheme. Now, the graphics card that we're going to be using, I didn't want this to be like $1,000 7400F build. So I bought a used, speaking of classic, RX 6700 XT. On the used market, at least here in the United States, this continues to be one of the absolute best price to performance cards on the market. Oh boy, I hope this fits. It's a pretty big card, man. Our case is not that big. This is an XFX RX 6700 XT. This is my first time looking at it. For being used, I mean, this is in amazing shape. Yeah, I mean, there is very, very minimal dust on there. That's what's in my kid's PC. Great GPU. It is, in fact, a very, very good GPU. We got two 6+2 here's connectors here for the GPU. Power connectors. Boom. Very good looking card. And then finally, we have one more component, which is the case. And this thing is also like the 7400F, literally brand new. It's so new that when I bought it, it didn't even have a model name. I'm not even going to ask you guys to guess what this case is like I normally do, because I don't think there is a model name. This is from Okinos, and this is just, dude, I hope that GPU is going to fit. We got to do, oh my God, we got to figure that out right now, man. That does not look like it's going to fit. we might have a code red on this one. Do you think that 6700 XT is fitting in there? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I do actually remember looking up the dimensions. Okay, because I was worried about this. When I looked them up, it said it will fit if the fans in the front... Hold on. I'll look at that soon. Hold on. It said it'll fit if the fans on the front are installed on the front side of like the grill. It said it will not fit if the fans are installed on the back side. The fans are installed on the front side. So by the website specifications, it says it will fit. I'm not 100% confident though, but I did 100% look it up and it did 100% say that it was going to fit, just for the record. I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna fit. We might just need to angle it a little bit. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is as close as it gets. Oh my goodness. I mean, we have maybe. I mean, you can't even tell on camera. I mean, it fits and it'll ship. But that, I mean, that is as close as it gets right there. Like, I can't even, look at this. I can't even pull it out without having to angle it. Don't clip me saying something like that. Look, I could literally pick up the, oh wait, oh my God. It's stuck now. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, we'll just do that. All right, it fits. No, don't be clipping. Don't be clipping out of context stuff, man. I'm a big fan of Okinos, guys. Okinos has been delivering some top tier budget cases over on Amazon. $57 right now. 4 ARGB pre-installed fans. That's what it's hopefully going to look like. We got 3 120s up at the front. A 120 in the back, ARGB. Pretty clean, all black, minimal design. Hopefully it pairs up well with our black and red color scheme that we got going on today. But yeah, that is the parts list. I did not show you an SSD, and that's because the SSD isn't here yet. My bad. We are, for this build guide on YouTube, we are going with a Clev Crass C910. I paid $50 for it, brand new on Amazon. It's a 1 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe. It's just not here yet. I don't know what's going on with Amazon. I think it got delayed. But thankfully, whenever we benchmark these PCs, we put in a different SSD because it has all the games installed. So Sam will still be able to benchmark it tomorrow. It's probably the SSD's probably gonna get here tomorrow. But yeah, today we're not gonna be installing an SSD. We'll just pretend. It'll be fine. We're just gonna pretend that we have an SSD. But yeah, that is the parts list. This is what everything costs me. We got the 7400F for 122, the B850, the 32 gigs, the 6700 XT. I paid $200. Oh, I bought that off Java. I forgot to say that. I bought the 6700 XT for $255 off of Java. I did not use any sort of employee discount or anything, nothing special. I bought that just as a normal person. The Clev Crass for $50, the A650 GL, the Okinos, oh, it was $60 for me. It's actually $57 now, as we just saw. I got the Vitro V5 for $28, and then the cable extensions for $26. Total price comes out to $806. All right. We got our IO shield. We definitely will be saving that for later. Wi-Fi antennas. Save that for very later. Get out our motherboard here. Oh, that's a oh. That's a good looking board, man. That's looking nice. $110 B850. That's looking pretty nice. Oh, I actually really like that. That has a... It could be the Coke talking, but I feel like the PCB has a very aesthetic black shine to it. Like, I know most motherboards are all black, No, no, no. This is something different, man. This is some sort of a different, like, paint material or whatever they use. That's shiny. That's... Can't get over this, man. It could be... I did move some lighting, so maybe it's just... I don't know what's going on here, but I think it looks really good. Okay. Next up, we got our CPU. So what we're going to do, we're going to unlatch that. We're going to pull this up. Quick inspect to make sure none of the pins are damaged, which they're not. We're good to go. I like to put it... I like to do my little rotate action. We got the gold arrow here. That's going to match up with the arrow on the top left side. Top left if you have it orientated correctly. But I like to grab the CPU just like that. You don't want to let your fingers get underneath the CPU because you don't want to touch those contacts. Or if you're using an AM4 AM4 CPU, then you definitely don't want to be touching those pins. But AM5, the pins are on the motherboard. But that is usually how I grip it. I'm going to just sit it down in there without bending pins. Nice and gently like that. Give it a little tiny wiggle to make sure that it's in there. And then we can close that up. Look at this, guys. I say this every time. I cannot overemphasize how much power is required to latch this down. It is obnoxious. If you were building your first ever gaming PC, look, the latch is still up. If you were building your first ever gaming PC, this is gonna be the most uncomfortable thing you do. We already confirmed with the wiggle that CPU is in there, it's not going anywhere. So the only thing left to do is to push that latch down. It just requires, I wish I could show this at a different angle. It just, oh my God. Like this is so much force even just right here. Like this is a lot of force right now. You just gotta, oh my God. Crank that thing down. And then this pops off. It is super, super uncomfortable. AM5, I think, I could be wrong. Pretty sure AM5 requires the most amount of pressure with that retaining latch. So, just as a heads up. Feel free to clip that and resort back to it. But yeah, so the CPU is installed. Now we're going to install our DDR4 RAM. We only got 2 RAM slots on this budget motherboard, but that's fine for AM5 because almost nobody is going with 4 sticks of RAM because of the AM5 compatibility issues with 4 sticks and whatnot. So that's actually not even that big of a downfall these days. That's installed. I would install my SSD next, but did I say DDR4? My bad, DDR5. I would install my SSD next, but again, it's not here yet, so we're just going to pretend that I just got done installing it. I would uninstall these 2 screws, I would latch it in there, and then reinstall those 2 screws. All right, SSD is installed. We're good to go. Now we can get our cooler out. Our Vitro V5, which I've actually been using quite often over the last few weeks here. This is what it looks like. All black with a 120 millimeter fan. Just like this. For orientation, we just want to make sure that that V is correctly placed. We got our protection strip, which we definitely want to remove. Take a quick look at the instructions for AMD. And we need to install these little guys over top of the bottom of the cooler. And we will use the back plate that is already on the motherboard. So we'll find the AMD bag that's much appreciated to be labeled. We need that. We will also need these. for keeping the fan in place. Much appreciated, man. All right, I think that snooze lasts for 5 minutes, so we got to build as soon as possible. We at least got to get this whole CPU cooler installed before that ad break comes. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove that protective sticker there. Usually I save that for last, but it's harder to install these things. Let's get our LTT screwdriver over here going. It's harder to install those screws when that sticker's on there, so I've been removing that first. Okay. Yeah, we're going with the red one today. We got to use 4 screws to install these onto the CPU cooler. Try not to fingerprint up the heat pipes here. It'll be fine, but if you can help it, you don't want your finger oils getting on there. That's not really ideal. Boom. Do you stream with OBS? Yes. Sorry, that camera's going out of focus. It's all good. I'm just screwing in some screws right now. Keep it at an angle like this. That way you can see. Oh my god. That backfired. Now the screw's in at an angle. Don't do that. Scratch that. That was not a good plan. Okay. Where did you get that screwdriver? Linus sent it to me. He sent me a few. But if you want one, it's from LTT. Wow, that is just not looking good in there, but we'll be okay. Okay, that is lower than what it needs to be. All right, good enough. Hold on. We got to install this. Now, we'll come over here. And we need to remove these plastic bridges that are on the motherboard. Another 4 screws for this. Like that. Take that out, and we're just going to use that back plate that is on there. And then we're going to get ourselves some thermal paste. This is what we use at the office. You don't need to use this. This is a massive tube of some HY510 that we can buy in bulk. This is what a traditional thermal paste looks like, just for reference. This XTM70 is actually really good too. But this is what we've been buying in bulk, and it works very well for us. I'm just gonna do a P-dot method here. Just like that. That is what I do for all square-shaped CPUs. And we're gonna make sure that that V is orientated correctly. Oh, I think I struggled. Was this the CPU cooler that I struggled with last stream? Yeah, this CPU cooler was not behaving. Or what was it, this one? I can't remember. It was not behaving well with screwing this in. I know you can't really see, but we want to just get those threads started on all 4 corners before we really ratchet them down, just to evenly apply pressure down on that CPU. Now that all 4 are started, now I can crank them down in the star pattern again, just to evenly apply pressure. Bro's cranking it. With this zoomed in camera, it probably looks like I'm cranking it down more than I am. Boom. All right, those are all tight, and actually I'm gonna double check that just because this video is all going to be about the cooling of the 7400F. So double check our work there real quick. All right, that's installed. Oh, I'm going to snooze that ab brake one more time. And then the last thing to do is to get this fan on here. We're going to use our little wire clips. For this Vitro V5, these actually loop into the bottom holes down here, if I remember correctly. And then put the fan on here. Make sure those cables are downward facing. That way they come out the bottom here. I can plug the fan connector right in the motherboard and then hide those cables underneath that fan. And then the excess cable that I have is the 3-pin ARGB, which we will hopefully be able to daisy chain into the case. But that is that for the motherboard prep. We got the ASRock B850M, what's it called? -X Wi-Fi with the Ryzen 5 7400F installed. The Vitro V5 on top of that. 32 gigs of silicone power DDR5. And we're going to pretend that we installed an SSD, but it just didn't arrive in time. So we didn't actually do that. But boom, motherboard is officially prepped. I'm not kidding. You can't get GPUs right now without paying way too much money, man. It's crazy out here. What about the 7700 XT? It's currently $100 more than it was 2 months ago, 1 month ago. And I'm talking about the cheapest model available. The cheapest 7700 XT available right now is $100 more than it was a month ago. You're not going to get the recommendation from me to buy that. It's way too overpriced. Why is it happening? I don't know if you guys think it's like clickbait when I release these videos that say we're in a GPU shortage. It's not clickbait, guys. We are in an actual GPU shortage right now. AMD, NVIDIA, like, as funny as it is to like blame NVIDIA and like trash them for this terrible GPU launch that we're going through, we are in an actual GPU shortage right now. I'm not saying that to get views. Go check PC Part Picker. Look at it for yourself. There is nothing available above like a 4060 that's not overpriced right now. It is wild out here, and it sucks. 2 months waiting for a B580 to be available. The B580, now in hindsight, was just the start of the GPU shortage. We all thought that the B580 was just unavailable because it was such a good GPU for the money and everybody went to buy it. But in reality, have we seen B580 restocks since then? Not really. This is just a legit GPU shortage, man. All right, these are all the cables that I need for our modular power supply. Also gonna straighten out some of these big ones. Okay, there we go. We're gonna plug in the 24 pin for the motherboard. And just like you should with any power supply, not just one that's going into a 5090, double and triple check all of your connections, especially with a modular power supply like this. Plug in our 4+4 for our CPU. And then we'll plug in our double 6+2 for the graphics card. And then I believe we're going to need one of these SATA powers for all of those ARGB fans. So after I do that, again, I'm going to make sure that all those cables are firmly seated in there. Ugh. And then I'm going to get out our Asia Horse cable extensions, which are going to really bring the aesthetics of this build to life. Got the 24 pin, the 4+4, and then we're going to need two 6+2s for that RX 6700 XT. And some cable combs. Is that a decent PSU? Yes, this is tier B. Tier B is 650 watt, fully modular, 80 plus gold. It's one of the best valued tier Bs on the market, typically. There we go. That is what we'll need for cable combs. Thoughts on the 7400F? I mean, I already talked about the beginning of the stream. I don't have definitive thoughts because I've never tested it. This is going to be the first build with it. So we will see, man. We will see. Did you use the new PSU tier list? Yes. Yeah, I actually showed you how to look up that exact power supply using the new PSU tier list. It was just a little bit earlier in the stream. That's exactly what we did. Where did you get the 7400F? AliExpress. For some backstory about the tier list, if you're interested, while I install these power supply extensions, which, by the way, SPL, the creator of the PSU tier list, does not like these. SPL created the tier list with some help from his associates over the last, I want to say, like 6 to 12 months. And if you don't know SPL, he's very active in our ZTT community, and he's a mod. He lives and breathes power supplies, like he always has. Way before this PSU tier list, SPL has been the person that I send direct messages to, like, hey man, can I get away with using this in a video? Why or why not? He knows everything about every power supply. It's just his passion. So, without me knowing, he was assembling this new PSU tier list with some help, and once he got towards the end, he let me know, and he let me start using it before it was live for anybody else, just so I could use it for reference. And I came up with the idea of, hey, instead of, they were just gonna like naturally launch it to the community like the Google Sheet. And I said, instead of doing that, let's like make this a real launch. Let's put it on zttbuildhelp.com and let's make videos about the PSU tier list. Let's continue educating people about how to use it and whatnot. We got some even further stuff planned in the future. And then let's affiliate link it. That way it's worth all of our time, because if you, those links that are in the PSU tier list are affiliate linked. So we get a small kickback if you do buy anything. And we just didn't affiliate link any of the tier D, E's, or F's because we don't recommend you buy those. And yeah, I mean, he loved it. He's already the like face of power supplies. His DMs and messages everywhere are going crazy. And yeah, I'm very thankful that he allowed us to host it on ZTT Build Help, because that's very cool. That's the home of it. So we'll have that for years to come, and they're going to keep it updated, which is also really cool. Yeah, and it's just miles better than the first one. How do we support the list? Click on the affiliate links would be the first way to support it. If I see more people say something like that, I will convince SPL to create something that supports him and his team, not me. Because I get a commission off of the commission. So does SPL, obviously. But if you want to support them directly, if I see more people ask that in the next few days, I will convince him that we'll set up some sort of cheeky, like, buy me a coffee type thing or something, because if there's enough people that want to do it, I want to set that up for SPL, because they put hundreds of hours into that thing. So they definitely deserve it. I wasn't streaming the last 2 weeks Because like I said, my wife was away on a 2-week trip. And I was solo parenting a 5 and a 3-year-old for 2 weeks. That doesn't really sound like a feat if you're not a parent, but if you are a parent, you know. I was just absolutely smoked for the last 2 weeks. I definitely did not have streaming in me, and I don't want to build that. Oh, I grabbed the wrong cable. I don't want to build that 5090 PC until I'm on stream with you guys. It's going to take forever because it's an elaborate build, but I definitely don't want to build that off camera. So whenever I stream and I don't have like a YouTube video to film, the very next stream is going to be the 5090 build. Okay, now that my cable combs are all cable combed, I can start plugging these extensions in. Oop, wrong way. Got my 6+2s over here. Like that. Again, gonna double and triple check that connection. Plug in my, my 24 pin. Just like that. And then we got the 4+4 for the CPU. So our power supply is all cable combed, cable extension, modular connected, all good to go. That prep is complete. Let us start putting these puzzle pieces together. Again, if you missed the intro, this is just an Okinos micro ATX case. They literally don't even have a model name for this yet, I don't think. It's currently $57 on Amazon. I've said this a million times, but I am a big fan of Okinos for their budget cases. They actually watch all my videos. Every single time I mention Okinos, they send me an email just like saying thank you. So like they're in the community paying attention to what people say. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. This is why I like them. Check this out. So not only do we have a pretty good starting point for cable management, like this isn't too bad. Oh, we got all that down there. That'll be fun. But they got a nice little RGB hub here with, it's a 4-port ARGB hub for all 4 of the ARGB fans. But, oh wait, no, I might have misspoke. I thought this was going to be for daisy chaining, but it is not. Oh no. Oh, this is, oh, that's a, oh, okay. This has become devastating. There's no way to tie in a 5th connector with this. There's no daisy chain action. Oh, never mind. I think we might be able to do it. Hold on. No. I'm freaking out for no reason. Never mind. I can daisy chain with this into this, and never mind. We're good. We're good. False alarm. Okay. The case is back to being S tier for sub $60. I like all the zip tie cable tie down points. Got a decent size power supply basement. Oh, look at that. That's actually a pretty decent power or accessory box for a budget. Oh man, I'm fanboying hard. This is, I will dock them points off for this. This is the Cypress 3 manual, and it came in the Cypress 3 case box, I should say, but it's not the Cypress 3. The Cypress 3 is a different case, I believe. Oh, see, they're changing something around. I'm not tracking this. When you type in Cypress 3, you get this one and this one, which look like they're the same case, but one of them... Oh, this is the Cypress 3. Oh, it's right there. Okay. I just didn't work my way down. Okay, wow. I was wrong this entire time. I did not work my way down through the rest of the title. This is, in fact, the Cypress 3. This one, which I used a little bit ago, is just the Cypress 3 wood. Wood. Voice crack on wood. Dude, definitely do not clip that one. Okay, so this is the official Cypress 3. Got it. Now I'm tracking. But yeah, these are the accessories. Everything we need here. Good to go. This is a pretty decent starting job, Okinos. W voice crack. Yeah, I mean, that's about as good timing as good timing gets right there. We're going to start with our IO shield. Thoughts on the Montech XR? I think the Montech XR is the best valued ATX case on the market right now. You can usually find them for around 70, under 70. And for an ATX size case, if you want fish tank with all the ARGB fans, if that's the design you're looking for, I think the Montech XR is literally the best one. Best valued, I should say. Okay, we gotta install one standoff. We gotta move this standoff down to here. Yeah, I love the Montech XR. I would use the Montech XR more often, but the fact that it is ATX means that the build is gonna cost more money because ATX motherboards are more expensive than micro ATX. And I like the Montech XR for more budget-based builds. So I've used it a few times, but I would use it more if it was micro ATX probably. Now I can put this in. Like so. I'm gonna keep building this PC though. Who's the best seller on AliExpress? I have no idea, man. You gotta do your individual research. I have never tried to target a specific AliExpress seller, but I research every single seller that I buy from. Because it changes a lot. There's a lot of sellers on there. What's a good pair for the 7700 XC? Like a 7600, 7600X. I have both YouTube and Twitch open. It's like you're in a cave. Yeah, you're gonna have to mute the audio of one of them. That's not gonna sound good. YouTube chat redemption arc. They have definitely redeemed themselves. Darnell Washington is lucky to have you as his PC builder. I would say it's probably the other way around. I'm lucky to be his PC builder. But thank you. We will definitely build that one on stream as well. Alright, right now I'm just plugging in all of the case connectors. I got some HD audio action. At least I'm trying to. Oh, that's not right. Why is this not plugging in? There we go. All right, HD audio is plugged in. One thing that Okinos just always does, or I shouldn't say always, but it's shocking how often Okinos includes a USB-C connector. And now that we have a B850 motherboard, we can actually take advantage of it. Usually when I'm building in an Okinos case, I'm building a budget PC that doesn't even have a USB-C header on the motherboard. But this time we do, which is nice. Most budget cases do not have a USB-C port. I know that seems very normal out in like normal technology land, but that part is still expensive to put on a case, apparently. I have no idea. So when you see, it's very, very rare to see a USB-C port on a budget case like this. So I really like that Okinos prioritizes that. There we go. So those are all plugged in. And then, is that about it? Oh, we're going to have to do something about this. This is what it's looking like so far. We have our SATA power here, which we'll use once we get that power supply in. The one thing we got to do now, though, is we have to plug in this fan. Wait, where's the fan connector for that? Where's the fan connector for the back one? Oh, it's sitting here. Okay. That explains it. And we got to plug that in. So that the rear fan is not daisy chained anywhere. And then, so we need 2 headers. Do we have? Yeah, we got some headers at the bottom. And we got some headers at the top. Okay. So what we'll do is... Actually, I don't think I'm going to have to unzip tie this. Or untwist tie this. I'm just going to plug the top fan into one of the top headers up here. Yeah, that will work. That is just going to make it. You can't really see this, but just plugging in that rear fan to that header. And then we got one more header, or one more connector for the 3 fans that are daisy chained. And I am going to need a little bit of extra cable here. So I'm going to try to gently untwist tie this and pull. Oh, wait, I have no more slack, do I? Oh, there we go. Pull a little bit of slack out of there without severely messing up this cable bundle. And I'll re-twist tie that back for right now. And then this is the connector that I just got. And I can also plug that into another header that's up at the top of this motherboard. So all the fans are good to go in terms of fan power. The only other thing I got to do is we got to figure out this daisy chain ordeal for the CPU cooler. So again, this Okinos case does come with a 4-port ARGB hub down here. I would have loved to see 5. That way you could just plug in a CPU cooler into it. But since it doesn't, thankfully our cooler fan does have some daisy chain action available. So what we can do is we can just unplug one of the Okinos RGB fans. We'll unplug that, and then we'll plug the Okinos connector into our CPU cooler connector, and now we'll plug our CPU cooler connector into the hub. So now we have all 5 fans connected to this ARGB hub. So whenever I press the button on the front of the case, it will hopefully change all 5 fans ARGB color at the same time. So now that everything's plugged in, I'm going to give this a very quick round of functional cable management because it is a little messy here. And I like to do this before the power supply gets introduced because we have a power supply with a bunch of cable extensions on there. And if it's a mess now, then it's going to be a crazy mess once that power supply arrives. So let's do a little bit of tidying up now, shall we? And just as a reminder, if you are completely lost with how our giveaway systems work, go to the ZTT Discord server and go to the streaming section. There's a channel in there that says like giveaway info, I think it's called. It has all of the information you need about the giveaway. Every question that you're answering right now is answered in the Discord server. So go check that out if you can't figure it out. All right. So that's all okay. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's good enough. What's your least favorite part about PC building? You're looking at it right this very second. Cable managing. Absolutely. For sure. This is not fun at all. I mean, it's fun that I get to talk to you guys while I do it. Cable managing by yourself? That is definitely not for me. What is your guys' worst or least favorite part about PC building? If you had to pick something. If you don't have something, more power to you. Spending the money? That's the fun part. What are you talking about? Getting the money, yeah, that's not fun, but spending the money, that's fun. Software? Earning the money? Not having all the parts, that's valid. Selling it? Yeah. Front panel? Installing the OS? Really? This might just be super nerd of me, but I love installing Windows on a PC, whether it's new or one that I've been using for a while. I love the process of reinstalling Windows and like re-downloading all of the software I need. It's a fresh start. It's like spring cleaning for your PC. I have always really enjoyed that part of PC building. That will never not get old. Like even like when I was working IT in my last job before I quit to go all in on ZTT, even just setting up new computers for like new employees, I loved it. Just installing their Windows and figuring out the most optimized way to do all that stuff. Like I love that, man. This is about as good as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna remove all these zip ties. And then I'm gonna put the power supply in. That's what the cable management is looking like pre-power supply. We got all sorts of daisy chainness going on over here with the 4-port ARGB and the fans daisy chaining and plugging into the motherboard. We just have this HD audio over here, and then the majority of everything else is just sitting at the top of the PSU basement right there. Speaking of PSU basement, we somehow need to fit all of this. Look at this. We somehow need to fit all of this into here. This is why I don't like cable management, man. Okay. Power supply. Just gonna go in there. Sit nice and pretty. We'll get our screws. Where'd I put them? There we go. Uninstall the Xbox stuff? Well, some games you need the Xbox stuff. I don't do that. I'll manually delete like a lot of the Windows stuff. Like OneDrive, Weather, Solitaire, Office. Like I'll uninstall all of that. But I don't really de-bloat more in depth than that. I'll disable a lot of like startup apps, and I create like minimal taskbar settings, like to get rid of the search and turn off all the notifications. And I do try to like minimalize my Windows installs, but I don't take it super far. I know some people take it way farther than me. Okay. Power supply is in. Let's start easy. Let's go with the 8-pin first. The 4+4 for the CPU. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be an absolute rat's nest. Okay, there we go. We got that. That is gonna go up and around that way. Over there. And then let's grab our 24-pin as well. And that's gonna go up through this one. Right around like that. You can start to see the color scheme coming. The red and black are starting to make an appearance. plug in this 4 plus 4. That is in there. And then I will plug in the 24 pin, which is right here. Plug that in, push it down. Super tight. That is in there. Oh. Oh. We got some aesthetics coming. What I'm also going to do is before I forget, is take care of that SATA power for all of that ARGB action. Take care of that right now. We'll plug that in, and then I'm going to stuff that cable down in the HDD cage. Even if you don't have a hard drive, which are what these cages are, they're usually still in most cases in the PSU basement. I actually like to keep them in for most builds because it gives you a little bit of compartmentalization of a good place to stuff your cables down there. Now we're gonna route the GPU connector, which this is gonna be fun. We already saw that GPU is gonna be extending out the length of this case. It barely fits if you guys missed the beginning, so we'll just let that sit there for now. And now that we have it looking like this, now we can start to put some of this stuff up and we'll be good. Tighten this down a little bit. GPU shortage so real. Is that going to start becoming a fitness influencer? I mean, I'm not worried about like me or my content. The thing that I worry the most, and like by far more than anything about the GPU shortage, is keeping my PC builders busy. Because my PC builders that come into the office, they I mean, even to this day, they're still building like 3-4 PCs a day. But like, I'm starting to see a very real future where we're not going to have that many builds to build. And I don't know what we're going to do. ZTT is a fully functioning company without selling builds. Like, we make enough money to support everybody for content, or from content, which is great. But if I don't have work for people to do, like, that is what I'm stressing about. Everything else will be figured out. Like, I can make APU builds for YouTube videos. We could talk about other stuff. We could talk about news. We could talk about GPU shortage news. Like, content is... We've already gone through content during a GPU shortage. Like, we will figure something out. But yeah, it's just keeping the PC builders busy is what's super stressful right now. Should I sell my 5080? Why would you do that? No. Enjoy it. Use it. Actually game. Okay. So now that that's coming across there, try and get those cables nice and flat. And then we can zip tie this down. Like so. Not the prettiest. I ran out of zip ties though. Just flatten this down a little bit. There we go. I think that is about as functionally cable managed. Yeah, I mean, it's not pretty, but I think that's good enough. Yeah, that's fine for me. Okay. Let's get this GPU installed next. That is good enough for me. Let's uninstall or unscrew this. It's a solid 6. Yeah, That might be a little generous too. Thank you. Do that. Where's my GPU? If you missed the intro, this is the XFX RX 6700 XT. It barely, and I mean barely, fits in this case. You gotta use some magic with some geometry angles to really fit it in there. It actually said, I looked up the dimensions of the case, and it said if you install the fans on the other side of the front fan grill, because sometimes you want them on the other side, or if you have an AIO, the GPU would definitely not fit. But in the stock config of the case, it does fit. So we're gonna angle this in like that, shimmy it all the way over here. Boom. That is in. Get some screws for that. Not in here. I ran out. Hopefully. Yep, there we go. Just use a Dremel, problem solved. Yeah, but see, I usually make these builds that are repeatable, and I don't want to have to explain to somebody how to buy and use a Dremel. That would kind of defeat the purpose of... Oh, I forgot about this. This is how the last time we used the Cypress 3, I forgot. This does not use traditional screws that you would use for a graphics card. For whatever reason, I think it uses these. That threw me off last time. It does not use... Wait, this one's not even working. Which screw was it? Alright, let's get the screws that they actually provided. I forget. I remember it not being the... Oh, right. Now I remember. It's the traditional looking screws. But the traditional looking screws that they provide are slightly different than the actual normal ones. It's still these guys. That's what the traditional screw looks like. But the threading is just a little bit different. It's not standard. I don't know why they do that. I don't know if they even know that they do this. But that is not the traditional screw there. But these are what work. I forgot. All right. That's installed. I'll get this piece. Oh, wow. Hopefully that installs. There we go. Maybe. Oh, we're running out of room over here with that GPU. Oh, no. That might need to stay off, actually. Maybe. I feel like I can... There we go. Okay, we're good on that. Now I can install the double 6+2s on the graphics card. Hopefully we don't have too much sag. We might need to get some sort of GPU sag bracket action over here. Maybe build a Lego. There we go. And now I'm gonna pull that GPU connector, power connector, nice and tight. Try to. Just like that. Ooh. Oh, that's looking good. Oh, that's looking real good. Okay. Then we can just stuff those cables into that hard drive cage that I was showing you earlier. And boom. That is what the final cable management looks like. be able to close that, no problem. Just like so. And now we can see the final product. Oh my God, that looks so good. Oh, I love that. Ooh. Oh, look at that red and black. Oh my God, that is so clutch. Oh, that's so cool. Oh. Dang, that looks nice. Yeah, we are going to have a red error light because there's no SSD. There's going to be a boot error. 100%. So just ignore that. We didn't actually install an SSD. That looks good. All right, let's check this out. Why is that back fan not spinning enough? There we go. I have a feeling white's actually going to look better. Oh. Wait, is that... Oh, no, that... Okay. I thought that was white and red. Why is that back fan tweaking? That's probably just because it's boot looping. I would assume so, because this back fan is actually plugged onto its own header. It's not daisy chained at all. So that's probably just because it's boot looping a little bit. Dude, that's clean. That looks better than I thought it would with red. I would have guessed that white looks better. This is the Okinos Cypress 3. Dude, that oh, dang. That looks good. If you missed it, this is the parts list over here. We got a Ryzen 5 7400F for $122 on AliExpress. Brand new CPU. The ASRock B850M-X Wi-Fi for $110 on Amazon. Silicon Power Zenith 32 gig kit. The used RX 6700 XT that I bought for $255 on Jawa. We should have a Clevcraft C910, but as you can see, that is still in transit. We didn't actually install that. I got the MSI Mag A650GL Tier B power supply. The Okinos Cypress 3 for I paid $60, but it's actually $57 on Amazon right now. Vitro V5 for $28. And then the Asia Horse black and red cable extensions for $26. Total cost is $806. And this is the final product. Not too bad. Not too bad. YouTube videos coming soon.